My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Hot Shots Part 2. Now, I watched the first Hot Shots a few weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a funny movie. Not every joke landed, but I did enjoy it, and it's just one of those movies that we don't get them like that anymore. So it just makes me appreciate it all the more. And I heard Hot Shots Part 2 was even better than the first one, so I was really excited to watch it. And even though I don't think it's better than the first one, it's still on the same level. These movies are very difficult to talk about because there's no story or character arc that you're meant to be taken serious. So all you can say is whether or not this movie is funny. And this movie is funny. Just like the first one, not every joke lands, but lots of them did. There's one joke right at the start when it's got the opening text and they're trying to spell assassin, but they keep spelling it wrong. So then they just backspace, and just say to kill a guy. There's one scene where a man and a woman are on a date. They're eating spaghetti and they accidentally kiss. So then the guy puts his head near the plate of spaghetti and moves the meatball with his nose. And that cracked me up. There's this one scene where this guy's held captive and they're keeping his hands tied up using a Chinese finger trap. Is that what those things are called? The thing where you put like it on one finger and then on the other finger and you can't get out? One of those things. And there's a torture scene that follows that I thought was really funny. There's one scene where there are these people on a plane and one guy's reading a book. So this other guy goes up to him and asks, "What book are you reading?" Great Expectations. Is it any good? It's not what I hoped for. And I'm not gonna lie, that was my hardest laugh of this movie. That line cracked me up real good. Then they try to jump off the plane, and as you see the lineup of people, there's just this one guy holding onto a pole, and it looks like he's on a subway, and I thought that was really funny. There was this one scene where they're on a boat, and he's just uses his knife and pokes a hole at the bottom of the boat, and then a thing of water just squirts out. That made me laugh. There was a fight between the people on the boat and another boat, and there's an excessive amount of machine gun firing, and to the point where the shells just build up around the guy, and then all these people jump off the boat, but every time anyone jumps off the boat, they shoot the exact same spot. I don't know if I can explain that scene properly, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, and that cracked me up. There's a scene where this guy is trying to shoot another guy with a bow and arrow, but he keeps missing, and then he runs out of arrows, so he grabs a chicken and puts it in the bowl and shoots at the guy. That made me laugh really hard. And there's one scene where they're trying to get this guy out of prison, and they need to get the keys, and while he's trying to get the keys, he's making as much noise as possible, and that made me laugh. So there's lots of times in this movie that I laughed, and that's what you need for a movie like that. But just like the first one, there's a few jokes that really didn't land for me. One of them is, and this is just a Gavin thing, but anytime any movie outside of Star Wars or Spaceballs references a lightsaber, I cringe unbelievably hard. When that scene in Free Guy pops up, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is so embarrassing. And when the president and the one guy are fighting and with lightsabers, I'm just like, oh, okay, this is really bad. There's one scene where they're killing a bunch of people and they have like a death count on the bottom left side of the screen, and I don't really think that was all that funny. There was this one romance in this movie, and this girl gives this guy a mole, and then the mole keeps popping up throughout the entire movie, and I never thought that was funny. There's one moment near the end where I knew Warren Atkinson's character was going to die, and I was just waiting for it to happen, and if they had him die like 2 minutes earlier, it would have been perfect timing, but then they kept the joke just drawn out and to the point where I kind of lost any potential for me laughing. So the jokes are about 60-40. 60% of the time they worked, I found them funny or laughed. 40% not so much. I do think Lloyd Bridges and Charlie Sheen are good in this movie. I don't really have much else to say on this movie. It's not like it's a visual masterpiece. It's not like it's a thought-provoking, emotional movie with depth and nuance. It's just a movie you turn on to laugh, and you do. The only other thing I'll mention is the sound, because I did like the usage of sound throughout. There's just these moments that could have just been nothing moments, but they just added these over-the-top ridiculous sound effects, which I quite enjoyed. So yeah, if you want to watch a movie and laugh, I think this is a good one to put on. It's not the funniest movie ever, it doesn't get to the level of The Naked Gun or Airplane, but it is a damn good movie and quite funny. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Hot Shots Part 2 a 6 out of 10. Okay, have you seen Hot Shots Part 2? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. And Gavin